What's up, Fantasy A Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight we will be revealing our Week 2 waiver wire pickups. But before we start the show, I'd like to welcome my co host back to the show, aka the Fantasy Guru. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, Fantasy 18 Nation? Thanks for having me back, Josh. I'm super excited for this. We're ready to help you guys try to win this week. So let's just get to this list.
All right, let's do it. We're going to jump
All right.
right in to Week 2 quarterback. What you got?
All right. So we're going to do our quarterback waiver wire pickups first. So what I got as kind of like one of my top ones is Jared Goff. He's rostered in only 8.4% of the leagues, only 1.3% started in. He kind of went off. He had 38 of 57, so he had 38 completions, 338 yards, 3 TDs, and only 1 interception. He had a great game, and I believe he's going to continue to build off that when he plays Green Bay this week. Kind of Green Bay is a question mark right now, so not really sure. Hopefully they do get it together because they are a good competitive team when they play hard. So my number 2 guy that I would put would probably be Tyrod Taylor. Or no, I'm sorry. I would put Derek Carr first. Derek Carr was 30.4% rostered in the leagues, 3.8% started. He went 34 for 56. Like he threw a ton, 435 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick. And then next, I would go with Tyrod Taylor. He's only rostered in 1.7% of the leagues. You can definitely pick this guy up. He only 0.1% of people started in. He went 21 of 33 for 291 yards and 2 TDs. He's like a super solid quarterback right now. If I didn't have a good quarterback or was worried about one of my quarterbacks' matchup, I'd pick him up and play him this week. After that, we got you could kind of pick your poison, but I would take Teddy Bridgewater. He was only rostered in only 4.7% of the league, so you could probably pick him up. Only 0.7 people started in. He went 28 of 36 for 264 yards and 2 TDs. So, I mean, dude, I know it's a surprise coming from Denver, and we're kind of all question marking their offense going into the season. But if that's the way they're going to play, man, they're going to be competitive. My Chiefs are going to have to, be worried about them. I was only worried about the Chargers, but it looks like Denver might be for real. So that's it on my quarterbacks, man. I can switch right to the running backs, but if you have anything to say on the quarterbacks, I'd like to hear what you have to say, Josh.
Yeah, I agree. I believe Jared Goff would be my number 1 waiver wire pickup for week 2. He balled out with the team that he had coming into the season. I thought it was going to be horrible, but they surprised me. They looked good. They really did. I think
I agree.
I pretty much had
both them. Remember, we were talking both. We were worried about Detroit's offense and Denver's offense, but both of them surprised us. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. We had pretty much the same list of top quarterbacks. So yeah, it's all good.
All right. Well, we can move to the running backs next.
Yeah, go ahead. Start us off.
All right. Well, I only have a few of them because they're kind of thin at running back still. Most of the guys are still performing. Only just Raheem Mostert went down, one of the main guys. So it's still early. So there's not many guys to pick up and many stats to kind of go by how they're going to be used. But with that said, like I mentioned, Raheem Mostert, since he's out, he's on the IR, he's out for the season. Elijah Mitchell they put as their running back number 1. Both Trey Sermon and Gallman, Sermon is a rookie and Gallman came from another team, so he doesn't know the offense quite as well as Mitchell does. And Mitchell showed last week when Mostert went out that he could prove to take the workload. I believe this kid's, the real deal. He can play hard, man. So with that said, if you can and you need a running back, go pick up this guy. If you have the top waiver pickup for your league, man, pick him up and probably start him this week versus the Eagles. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I would agree. He is the next man up there at the 49ers after Mostert's injury. So I believe he'd be worth a good pickup and put on your bench. And if you had to have someone to start, throw him in, see what he does this week.
Especially since their offense is basically a run-heavy offense. So, I mean, he's going to get the chance to prove himself and get the carries. So you might as well plug him in if you can get him. Next, I would go with Mark Ingram, another surprise guy. We brought up Tyrod Taylor in the last one. He surprised the hell out of me. I did not think that he would do that well. I kind of thought that maybe he was on his way out of the league after what happened to him, that freak punctured lung thing in week 2 last year. But man, this guy's got heart, dude. Look at how well he played. So with that said, it kind of looks like a revival of some veterans down there in Houston. So I'd go with Mark Ingram. You can get him because he's only rostered in 17.3% of the leagues. Only 1.6 people started him. And he carried the ball 26 times. They're dedicated to the run, it seems like. He only had 85 yards, but he got a TD. And, I mean, those are pretty solid RB2 numbers, man. So if you're needing an extra running back or you got a guy that you think that's already starting to underperform, grab Mark Ingram while you can, man. If you have top waiver pickups or if he sneaks down, if he falls down to you and you can sneak him and pick him up, man, take him. So my last guy, or actually I have 2 more guys. One of them is just kind of a sleeper guy. And it's just because he gets the ball. It's Nyheim Hines. He's rostered in 34.6% of the roster leagues and 4.8% started. He's one of those great pass catchers. And so if and when they get behind, or if it's one of those highly scored games, they're going to utilize Nyheim Hines. He played great last season in the role. He'll play great this season in the role. If Jonathan Taylor gets banged up or they just need a change of pace, this guy is it. And if he's available, pick him up and stash him on your roster. I'm not saying start him this week, but if you can get him, pick him up. And now here's another one that might be just for this week, but Kenyon Drake. He's rostered in 59% of leagues, so a lot of people have rostered him. But if you can find him on the waiver wire, Josh Jacobs is listed as questionable with a toe and ankle. So whether he starts or not, he's already banged up. If they run it very much, Kenyon Drake's going to get the ball. Here's why I like him. He got 6 carries for only 11 yards, so they kind of stuffed him. But, man, the guy's a beast when it comes to receiving the ball. He had 5 receptions for 59 yards. So if and when Jacobs goes out of the game or doesn't start, Kenyon Drake's going to get more opportunities. So that's going to go up. Both his numbers are going to go up. So for this week only, man, if you could – and who knows if Jacobs' injury gets worse, you'd want to have Kenyon Drake. So I'd pick him up if you can and plug him in, this week. What do you think?
I totally agree. Out of those running backs that you mentioned, Ingram, 26 carries. Man, he is a workhorse. I too thought that he was fastly approaching ending of his career. But
that's why I said revival of veterans. Like, that's what I was saying. 26 carries. You have to go back a long ways before guys that were getting averaging that many carries, because it wears the guys down so much. That's why a lot of them went to 2-back systems now. So yeah, crazy. I love it though.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if he is not the number 1 running back on that team down there before it's over, especially if he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
I guess let's.
Well, hold on. I got one sleeper running back for the waiver wire. So it wouldn't be anyone you'd want to start, but if you can get him, I'm pretty sure you can. If you have the extra room on your roster, go pick up Damian Williams. He used to play for the Chiefs. Now he plays for the Bears. And here's why I say that. David Montgomery got used a lot in that game. And so he ain't going to be able to keep up that pace forever. And so either he gets hurt or they just slow him down. This Damian Williams, he's only rostered in 1.5% of leagues. Only 0.2% of people started him. And he's a dual threat. Like, he can run the ball well and he can catch the ball well. So with that, if something is to happen with David Montgomery, I'm telling you, Damian Williams was on the Super Bowl winning team. So for the Chiefs, he was a baller. So Wish we would have had him that next year when we lost, but he had held out due to COVID. So who knows what would have happened. But I'm telling you, the kid's a stud, not kid, guy. The guy's a stud. If and when he gets a chance in Chicago, man, he's gonna ball out. So if you have a chance, stash him on your bench, man. That was my sleeper.
All right. Like we might as well jump right into the wide receivers.
Oh man, I got a lot to say about that. All right, so for me, the number one pickup I think this week would be Christian Kirk for Arizona Cardinals. He's only rostered in 24.5% of the league, so you should be able to go get him. Only 3.1 people started, and it's like no one knows this guy, but I've known about him since he was a rookie. He was a baller when he was a rookie. Then last year when Kyler Murray came, was on his team, they were teammates. He still got the ball with all the weapons that they had last year, and and Fitzgerald was still there. Now that Fitzgerald's gone, I look at him to kind of fill part of that role. And Kyler Murray and him knew each other from college, and they already now it's his second year playing together in the pros. I mean, he had 5 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, dude, you have to go pick this guy up, even if you don't start him this week because you have a bunch of studs. Put him on your bench because no matter what, this kid's going to ball out when he gets a chance. You know, when you plug him in, he's going to get numbers. I look for all of his numbers to go up too, by the way. So with that said, it's kind of a hard number 2. Like you could kind of take your pick of any of these other guys. These are other guys that I believe that you could pick up and play this week. Sammy Watkins seemed to be one of Lamar Jackson's favorite targets last week. Maybe it was just the way the game was playing out, but he's only rostered in 7.9% of the leagues. So, I can't remember. Man, I think he only had 6 catches, but they were for like 98 yards. So he didn't get the touchdown, but obviously, him and Lamar has some chemistry. So if you can go pick him up, he's going to be available. He's only 7.9% of leagues. After him, I would say either the Laviska Jr. Chenault for Jacksonville. I like him because he's kind of an athlete. And if you can get him in space, an open space, the kid will make plays. He is rostered in 58.7% of the league, so he might not be available. But he had 7 receptions, and I think he was targeted 9 times for 50 yards. So, they had a tough game. Trevor Lawrence still learning the offense, and Urban Meyer still learning to coach in the NFL. But look for him to go up, man. And he's not rostered. I mean, he's rostered in a lot of leagues, but not many people that rostered him started him. So I bet you a lot of people will look at it like it's a bad offense after what happened, and people will be dropping him. So even if you can't get him, let's say right when the waiver wire flips, I bet you before game time, he'll be on a lot of your guys' waiver wires. All right. So with that said, you go with these 2 other guys, Dante Harris and Van Jefferson. Both of them are kind of similar. Both guys, let's say Dante Harris plays for New Orleans. For some reason, Winston likes to throw long. He's got that big arm. And dude, this Harris guy, he only had 2 receptions, but they were for 72 yards and a touchdown. So when Jameis Winston gets him the ball, dude, this dude's going to score or at least get close to scoring. So with that said, he's easily a wide receiver 2 or 3. And if they start to utilize him more, because, I mean, Jameis Winston only threw for 148 yards. You think Sean Payton's offense is going to do that every week? I think it was just kind of a weird week for him. So going forward, I'd look for this Harris guy and Jameis Winston to hook up a lot more. Also, the Van Jefferson guy, he had only two receptions himself for 80 yards and 1 touchdown. Matt Stafford, I guess Matt Stafford seems to like this guy, or the fact that, people don't know who he was, so they let him roam free and he made him pay for it. Stafford, dude, made him pay for it. So look for Stafford to throw more to him. And, Sean McVay, dude, that guy's going to draw up more plays for this guy to make more big-time plays. So if you can pick up either one of these guys, both of them are easily rostered. Jefferson's in only 2.1%, so you definitely can pick him up. Harris, though, I think he's 9.7, so you should be able to grab him too. Now, my last two guys played for the same team. So it's kind of a pick your poison. I think one guy has a higher ceiling, and that would be Jacoby Myers. He's only rostered in 16.1% of leagues, and he had 6 receptions for 44 yards. Now, nobody in that offense had more than 45 yards receiving. It was him and Aguilar that both had 42 and 44 yards or whatever it was. But for some reason, Mac Jones seems to like this Jacoby Myers guy, and he's an athlete. So I look for him. Belichick's really good at making guys who are athletic like that, getting them in the right position to make good plays. I mean, look at what he's done for Edelman and gosh, he's slipping my mind. Who was the other guy way back? Little guy for New Orleans or for New England. Can't think of it, but you all know who I'm talking about. Seems to make guys get in open space and utilize them correctly. Belichick does. And that leads to the last guy, Aguilar. He's just a solid vet. So if you need a wide receiver 2, or if you play in a league that's wide receiver 3/tight end, you could easily pick him up. He's only rostered in 24% of leagues. He's just a vet that, he knows the plays, he runs the routes right, and just seems to get open. And then Mac Jones seemed to notice it. So he had 5 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown. So he's another solid pickup. I believe he'll be solid in that offense. Oh, the other guy I couldn't think of for a second, Wes Welker. So Edelman and Welker are both the same similar kind of guy, athletic, need to be put in space and make plays. So that's why I think that both these guys could be a good pickup, and Myers could have a higher ceiling if utilized correctly with Mac Jones in that offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had Christian Kirk and Aguilar on my list as well. There's one other guy I wanted to mention, Zach Pascal from Indianapolis.
Yeah,
depending,
great game.
Depending on what league you're in, these numbers are going to vary on rostered and started. So, but I believe he was only rostered 9% of the league. So I wanted to throw him on the list.
Do you have what his numbers were?
I don't. I sure don't.
But I remember Indy had a good. I think you mentioned it to me, and I looked at it. I think he had somewhere around 50-something yards, and like 4 or 5 receptions. I can't remember, but I remember you mentioned it to me before we started the video, and I looked at it. Yeah, he did have some good solid numbers. So for you people that could pick him up, go grab him. I mean, you might not plug him in this week, but he's going to be solid.
Yeah, I would say give him another game or two and see where he fits in the offense, and then go from there.
Yeah, we're still week 1. You don't know what everybody's going to do. And so with all of that said, the last but not least are the tight ends for us today. And I'll lead off with who I think the top pick is. And it's probably Jared Cook. Now, he is rostered in 68% of leagues, so most people aren't going to be able to pick him up. But if he is available, go grab him. He's going to be a stud for the rest of the year as long as he stays healthy. Now, these other 2 guys are probably guys that you could probably go pick up and start. So my first one is the Kyle Kmet. He plays for Chicago. It's Kmet, Kmet, something like that. He had 5 catches on 7 targets for 42 yards. Whether it's Dalton or Fields, he's going to be the safety blanket in that offense. I mean, 7 targets. So the more the offense gels and gets more opportunities with the ball, the more opportunities he's going to get. And I guarantee he's a big guy. He's going to get red zone targets. So if you don't have a good tight end or looking for a second one, pick him up, stash him on your roster, and see what he does this week. Watch, his numbers are going to go up, and they're going to go up all season. And last but not least on my list of the last 2 guys is David Njoku. He actually, I think, played better than Kmet, but he's kind of old, and he's like Cook, where as long as he stays healthy, he'll put up good numbers, I believe. They do a run-heavy play action there in Cleveland. So he was only rostered in 2.4% of the league, so you could definitely pick him up. He had 3 receptions for 76 yards. He's a huge guy. So if and when he gets a chance in the red zone, he's going to catch the ball and get you some more points. So like I said, not necessarily got to play him this week, but we're only in week 1. Bye weeks haven't even started. He's a good guy to pick up and stash because I can foresee that he's going to be good as long as he stays healthy. That's all I got.
Well, folks, there you have it. Our week 2 waiver wire pickups. All these guys perform well in week 1. That doesn't mean they're going to perform this week, but those are our top picks.
Those are our best predictions for players to keep, or not keep, but pick up.
That's
Man, we
true.
appreciate from all you guys. We really do. If you guys have any questions or comments, please, comment down in the comment section. We appreciate all the love. We can't believe that we got the 1.1K views on the one video that we have. So, and the 150 plus subscribers, man. We love you guys. Thank you guys. You guys are why we do this. We love football, man, and we appreciate all the love and support.
If you did enjoy this video, give us a like and subscribe. And always remember, friends don't let friends auto draft.